Hello everyone. In this short video, I'm going to be presenting some strategies to conduct a leadership review, beginning with some tips for a reliable leadership review. In this first video, we're going to present about different sources of information, including primary sources of information and secondary sources of information. Among these ones, we're going to be presenting the difference between empirical research, literature review articles, and meta studies. Okay, we also give you some hints on where to find reliable sources of information. To begin with, on this slide, I am showing you the primary sources of information on the left, and on the right, the secondary sources. Secondary sources are books and magazines and even newspapers, where they talk about different empirical studies or other reports that have been made. Okay. The most important for us is to identify which are the primary sources of information, and even when we can cite the secondary sources of information, that of dealing with primary sources of information is very valuable when you are trying to write a research study. Within the primary sources of information, the ones you're not going to be finding over YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, you need to go to specific research journals to find them. You have journal articles, where you find in research journals, from which I'm going to tell you some later on. Theses, master theses, and doctoral dissertations, and institutional reports and documents, and literature review articles. Also, we have meta studies that are reported in research articles. Both literature review articles and meta studies are also journal articles. Okay. There you go. You can find also books that are primary sources of information if they are presenting something that is an original work. Okay, from the journal articles, you have different types. You have empirical research articles, and this one deal with the type of articles that are written from the original authors who had to go to the field, interview people, or test participants. These are empirical research studies. Okay, so they present the reports on original work. Also, we have literature review articles. In the literature review articles, they analyze the theories about a certain topic, and they review empirical research and other types of articles about a topic. And what they do is that they report a revision of this literature, making sense on very specific topics of their interest. These are good because when you read them, they are dealing with the topic of your interest, let's say in the last 10 years, 20 years, and they explore the literature. It means all the articles that have been written about the topic, and they make sense of it. So then, in brief, you have a state of the art of the issue they are exploring. And this is great for you to close chapters when you're writing your literature review in the study you're conducting. In the meta-study reports, they do about the same, but instead of a thematic analysis, what they do here is that they use statistical analysis of the results of many studies, and they make sense of the studies and the results, and see what are the strengths in the findings of hundreds of research studies. These are also very important and serve the purpose to give us an idea on the state of the art of the literature review. Okay. when you're trying to find information for you to conduct a research study, you need to be careful as for the sources of information you're using. So do not go to blogs and find information and cite it as if it is a reliable source. You need to go find information at very specific places. So try to use reliable institutional sites, research journals, and published books. Okay, and avoid using sources where you can identify where they got the information and how they did it. Okay, such as I said, blogs, magazines, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and so on. Now, on this slide, you see different sites where you can find reliable information. Here, I'm going to be exploring some of them in other videos. We're going to be seeing how ERIC works and a little bit of Google Scholar, even though I don't see it here. But once you're able to do that here on ERIC and Google Scholar, you're able to explore any of these libraries and platforms, and also if there's a library in your university, you can use it also. Thank you so much for this short video. I'll see you next.